Hi everybody, my name is Timothy Hanline Jr. and I'm the author of the website lifeline2nac.com, which I placed on the internet for really to be a warning sign to people in the New Apostolic Church that their religion is straying very much from the Scriptures. Not only for the people of the New Apostolic Church, but for other errant Christian denominations as well. So whenever you have a Christian order or religious sect that trusts in or depends upon the quote-unquote blessings of men, you know you've really got a problem. And sooner or later they're going to stray very far from the Scriptures, and in the case of the New Apostolic Church, that's certainly the case. Now, I was reading on the New Apostolic Church's website for the Word of the Month for June 2009, and the title here is Touching the Hem of the Garment. And this is going to be an example, I'm going to make an example here of how the New Apostolic Church and other religious Christian orders really do pull out, they never really bring out the true meaning of the Scriptures when they write about things. Touching the hem of the hem of the garment actually is there's a very rich meaning behind that from the Scriptures. And it's a meaning that's just completely lost in this article from the New Apostolic Church. And we're going to go through that, and I'm going to give you an explanation as to why I'm saying that. In the article, it makes a reference to Matthew chapter 14, verses 35 and 36, where as many that were brought to the Messiah actually were healed when they touched the hem of his garment. Now, what was on the hem of his garment? Let's go back in the Bible, in the Scriptures, back to the Torah, back to the book of Numbers, the law of Moses. What is supposed to be there on the hem of our garments? Let me read this for you from Numbers chapter 15, and verses 37 through 41. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, Make tzitzit, or tassels, cords of blue, on the corners of your garments throughout your generations, and put a cord of blue in that tassel, in that tzitzit, and it shall be for you a tzitzit, and you shall see it, and shall remember the commands of Yah, and shall do them, and not search after your own heart, and your own eyes, after which you went a-whoring, so that you remember and shall do all my commands, and be set apart unto your Elohim. I am Yah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yah, your Elohim. So, what was on the corner of Yeshua, the Messiah's garment, was these tzitzit, these cords of blue. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I have a garment down here. It's a shirt, special made, but on the edges of it you can see, what do I have? These cords of blue, tzitzits. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me kind of get close up here. You can see that this is a braided cord, and it has a blue thread in it. Blue cord has a blue thread. So the tzitzit here, it represents something. It means something. It means it's supposed to remind you to know and to obey the commandments of the Most High, because it is the commandments of the Most High that have preserving power. It's when you obey, the Most High says you'll have peace, you'll have health, you'll have wealth, if you obey and you keep the commandments of the Most High. So these people understood that, and they came to Yeshua and touched the hem of his garment, the tzitzits, the fringes of his garment, and were healed. In so doing, in touching the hem of the garment, they were doing a very symbolic act. They were acknowledging the healing power, not only of the Messiah, but what he represents, which is he's the living Word. The Word, of course, that comes from the Most High, that was revealed to Moses and written there in the first 5 books of the Bible for us all to read, which we often just discard and ignore. sadly, and that's not good. But these people came to the Messiah knowing that he was the Messiah and that there was healing in what he had to teach. And what did he teach? He taught the Torah. He taught the first 5 books. He taught righteousness. Righteousness. How do you define righteousness? Well, it's defined in the first 5 books of the Bible. Now, if you want to develop your own set of commandments and have your own version of righteousness, that's called self-righteousness. But true righteousness is obedience to our Father's commands. Now, that is, oh, by the way, the command is also echoed in Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 12. Make tassels on the 4 corners of your garment, it reads, with which you cover yourself. Okay? Now, that word there in Deuteronomy for tassels is the same word that's used for wings in Hebrew, so wings. And by the way, it's also the same word that's used in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 3. And let me read this from you. This is kind of interesting. In Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 3, it says, "And he put forth the form of an hand and took me by a lock of mine head," the lock, or the braid. It's not really the wings, but it's the braid of the head, the braided tzitzis. So this, he lifted Ezekiel up above between the earth and the heaven, and brought him in visions of Elohim to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looks toward the north, where the seat of the image of jealousy is. Now, that's image of jealousy is a reference to an obelisk, like the Washington Monument, which is an abomination. Not to get off track, though. That word, the lock of mine head, is the same word, braid, that's used for the tzitzis. But it's also a word used for wings in Hebrew. The wings, the edges of the wings, or the edges of your outer garment, is also known as a wing. And in the Psalms, there's a few different references to these wings that the Most High keeps us under His wings. For example, Psalm 17, verse 8 reads, "Guard me as the apple of your eye, hide me under the shadow of your wings." Psalm 36, verse 7 says, "How precious is your kindness, O Elohim, and the sons of men take refuge in the shadow of your wings." Psalm 61, "Let me dwell in your tent forever. Let me take refuge in the shelter of your wings." So also Malachi, in chapter 4 of the book of Malachi, verse 2, Malachi says this, "But you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings." Son of Righteousness is a reference to the Messiah. And what does he have in his wings? Healing. What's in his wings? Tzitzis. What do they represent? The commands of Elohim, which, by the way, give you peace, health, wealth, prosperity. It's the means by which our Creator gave us to live in harmony with one another, which has been corrupted over and over and over and over again throughout our history. So it's your responsibility, and it's my responsibility, to read what our Father in heaven has said with regards to righteousness and implement it. So I think it was this reference in Malachi that the woman in Matthew chapter 9 read when she realized if she touches the hem of the garment of the Messiah, she would also be healed. Matthew chapter 9 verse 20 reads this like this, "And see, a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the tzitzit, the edges, the edges of his garment, the hem of his garment. For she said to herself, if I only touch his garment, I shall be healed." But Yeshua turned, and when he saw her, he said, "Take courage, daughter, for your belief has healed you." And the woman was healed from that hour. So the woman knew, I think, based on what she knew in the Scriptures, that the Messiah, who was preaching righteousness as defined in the Scriptures, would have healing in his wings, the tassels, which represent the commandments of the Most High. So this is a deep meaning. It's a wonderful, rich meaning that you just don't get from the New Apostolic Church and the teaching in other errant Christian denominations. So be encouraged, get into this book, and it will be just a tremendous blessing for you. So again, my name is Timothy Handline, Jr., and go to my website if you'd like to contact me and ask me any kind of questions or have any comments for me. Please feel free to contact me. Again, the website is www.lifelinetonac.com, and thank you for watching.